The biology and the anatomy of the crocodile. If evolution had a villain, it might just be the crocodile. Cold-blooded, armor-plated, with a mouth full of knives and a heart that can beat even when missing half of its oxygen supply. This ancient predator hasn't just survived millions of years of change, it's hardly changed at all. Crocodiles are older than the Himalayas. They saw the rise and the fall of the dinosaurs. They watched the oceans flood and retreat, forests grow and burn, and through it all, they waited, perfectly still, perfectly deadly. But how does an animal that looks like a dinosaur still dominate the rivers today? Why hasn't evolution made them obsolete like so many other ancient species? And what secrets are buried in their DNA that let them survive when others perished? These aren't just relics from the past. They're active, living examples of a completely different evolutionary strategy. Crocodiles didn't just adapt to a world full of change, they outlasted it. Compared to lions, crocodiles have stronger bite forces. Compared to snakes, they can swim faster and longer. And while humans grasp for air underwater after less than 2 minutes, a crocodile can dive and disappear for nearly 2 hours. This isn't just weird, it's evolutionary wizardry. The crocodile is a terrifying blend of ancient design and modern efficiency, a biological paradox, a survivor against all odds. And the deeper we go into its biology and anatomy, the stranger it gets. Anatomy and sensory systems. At first glance, a crocodile might look like a floating log with teeth, but beneath that prehistoric skin lies one of the most finely tuned killing machines in nature. Crocodiles don't have to move fast to catch prey, because their bite is faster than most animals can react. When the jaws of a saltwater crocodile snap shut, they unleash over 3,700 pounds per square inch of force. That's more than a T-Rex, more than a lion, and 25 times stronger than a human bite. That force comes from a jaw muscle layout that's highly specialized, enormous closing muscles and almost no opening muscles. It's like nature built a hydraulic press, not a hinge. But bite force alone doesn't explain their success. Crocodiles have specialized dome pressure receptors, tiny black spots along their jawline. These allow them to detect the tiniest ripple in the water, even in total darkness. Sharks can sense electrical fields. Owls can hear mice beneath snow. Crocodiles, they can feel a fish twitch from meters away. Inside, their anatomy gets even stranger. Their heart is four-chambered, like a bird or humans, but it has a special bypass valve called the foramen of Panizza. This lets them reroute blood away from their lungs when underwater, conserving oxygen and keeping them submerged longer than most marine mammals. Even dolphins can't pull that off. Their lungs are massive and efficient, like those of sea turtles or diving birds, and their liver stores enough glycogen to fuel long anaerobic dives. They're closer in some ways to diving penguins than to any reptile. Their ears are sharp too, small slits that close underwater but reopen with remarkable sensitivity. They can hear a baby crocodile chirp from inside of its egg, through layers of earth and shell. Evolutionary history. Crocodiles are often called living fossils, and for once, the term fits. The earliest ancestors of crocodiles, called crocodile morphs, roamed Earth over 230 million years ago. Right around when dinosaurs were first appearing, early crocodiles were shockingly diverse. Some were bipedal, some ran like greyhounds, some lived in forests. One ancient crocodile species even had teeth like a vegetarian. But it was the water that gave crocodiles their future. When most other crocodile morphs vanished in the asteroid impact 66 million years ago, a few aquatic specialists survived. These were the ancestors of today's crocodiles, alligators, caimans, and gaharals. Unlike most reptiles, they survived the Great Extinction. Their success? A semi-aquatic lifestyle, ambush hunting, and metabolic flexibility that let them survive without food for months. In contrast, animals like the woolly mammoth or saber-toothed cat evolved and vanished within a few million years. Even humans, depending on how you count, have only been around for 300,000 years. Crocodiles, they've been here in one form or another for over 200 million. They swam beside the Plesiosaurus, watched the rise of birds, and lived through ice ages. That's not just resilience, it's evolutionary mastery. Today, there are 24 recognized species of the crocodilian. From the tiny forest-dwelling dwarf caiman of South America to the monstrous saltwater crocodile of Australia and Southeast Asia. They range from every tropical continent and each one is a testament to a design so perfect it hardly needed changing. Neurology and cognition. You wouldn't expect intelligence from a creature with a face that hasn't smiled since the Jurassic, but crocodiles are smarter than they look. Their brain may be small, about the size of a walnut, but it's tightly packed with neurons, especially in areas that control learning, spatial memory, and complex behaviors. In captivity and in the wild, crocodiles have been observed using tools. They balance sticks on their snouts to lure in nest-building birds. Ravens do this, chimps do this, but a reptile? This caught scientists off guard. Crocodiles also learn quickly. They can be trained to respond to their names, recognize handlers, and solve simple puzzles. In group hunts, they coordinate positions silently, like a pride of lions but with far less noise. Neurologically, their brain's limbic system, responsible for emotion and social behavior, is more developed than that of most reptiles. It resembles early mammalian brains in some ways, suggesting a surprising convergence. Some researchers even argue crocodiles experience primitive forms of bonding, especially between mothers and hatchlings. And like the octopus and the elephants, they seem to plan, not just react. Planning and coordination are marks of complex cognition. So while crocodiles won't be taking IQ tests anytime soon, their brains might be more compatible than we ever thought. Behavior, hunting, and defense. Few predators inspire the same primal fear as the crocodile. That fear is earned. These animals can remain submerged, motionless for over an hour, then erupt from the water with lightning speed. A saltwater crocodile can launch half of its body vertically out of the water to snatch prey off low-hanging branches, a 1,200-kilogram missile with jaws. Unlike cats or wolves that chase their meals, crocodiles are ambush predators. They wait, and then strike. Fish, antelope, birds, buffalo, even sharks. Anything that gets too close might become dinner. Even jaguars, apex predators in their own right, occasionally fall prey when drinking at the wrong river. Their hunting toolkit is incredible. Acute vision in low light, powerful traits that can knock prey off balance, and sensory pits to detect movement. They use the death roll to tear off chunks of meat, a spinning maneuver so effective it's been studied by biomechanical engineers. Compared to wolves, who use endurance to wear down prey, or bears who rely on brute strength, crocodiles use timing, stealth, and overwhelming force. And unlike some predators who overhunt, crocodiles are conservative. They can go months without food, surviving off fat stores and slow metabolism. During droughts, they enter a state of low activity. Like a reptilian hibernation, a lion would starve, a crocodile just waits for the next flood. Genetics, immunity, and special adaptations. Crocodiles don't just look like armored tanks. They're built like biological fortresses down to the molecular level. Their skin contains osteoderms, bony deposits that act like built-in body armor. These plates don't just offer protection from jaguar bites or territorial rivals. They also help with thermoregulation, absorbing and storing solar heat for when temperatures drop. No mammal has this feature. Inside their immune system is even stranger. Crocodile blood contains potent antimicrobial peptides, tiny proteins that can kill bacteria, viruses, and fungi. Scientists have found that crocodile serum can neutralize HIV and even MRSA in petri dishes. Unlike humans who suffer dangerous infections from minor wounds, crocodiles can endure brutal fights with deep gashes in pathogen-filled waters and still heal. Their immunity isn't just robust, it's revolutionary. Crocodiles also have incredibly low metabolic rates, especially compared to warm-blooded animals. While a human might need 2,000 calories a day, a crocodile of the same weight can go weeks or months without eating. It's a survival strategy perfected through scarcity. During times of famine, they metabolize fat with astonishing efficiency. And then there's the gene regulation. Crocodiles have evolved mechanisms to suppress inflammation and oxidative stress better than most mammals. These traits might one day help us treat chronic diseases in humans, if we can unlock the genetic code behind it. Reproduction and social structure. When it comes to parenting, crocodiles defy all stereotypes of cold-blooded indifference. Female crocodiles are fiercely maternal. After laying 30 to 50 eggs, she guards them obsessively for 80 to 90 days, defending them from predators like monitor lizards, snakes, and even other crocodiles. No other reptile shows this level of parental investment. But the real miracle happens at hatching. As the babies begin to chirp from inside the eggs, the mother helps dig them out and carries them gently in her mouth to the water. Her jaws, which can crush bone, now cradle her babies with precision. A full-grown bear or lion wouldn't dream of this kind of tenderness. Young crocodiles stay close for weeks or months, depending on the species. And while they're not social animals in the mammalian sense, this early group structure offers safety in numbers. It's not unlike sea turtles or penguins, where hatching survival hinges on coordination and proximity. Mating is also surprisingly complex. Males bellow, slap the water, and use infrasonic vibrations, subtle audible rumbles that can travel through water and alert females to their presence. These displays are not unlike elephant rumbles or even humming of whales. Every gender isn't left to chance. Like many reptiles, crocodile sex is determined by temperature during incubation. A difference of just 2 degrees Celsius can shift the clutch from mostly male to mostly female. It's evolution's way of adapting to climate, a biological dice roll based on sunlight and soil. Communication and culture. Crocodiles may not write poetry or sing duets like gibbons, but they communicate in a variety of ways. Adult crocs bellow to stake territories or attract mates, or hatchlings chirp to coordinate hatchings. Each sound has a purpose. These vocalizations can vary between species, a rudimentary form of dialect. Mother crocs respond instantly to distress calls from their young, suggesting these auditory cues trigger rapid maternal instincts. Compared to frogs, who scatter their tadpoles and forget them, or sharks, who never meet their offspring, crocodile communication is surprisingly personal. Body language also plays a role. Crocodiles raise their heads, hiss, and even blow bubbles as part of their social displays. These behaviors echo what we see in territorial species, from wolves to peacocks. And though they don't use tools as often as crows or chimps, their communication is layered with context, much like dolphins or elephants using specific sounds for specific situations. Adaptive intelligence and evolutionary strategy. Crocodiles didn't become intelligent by becoming social. They became intelligent by becoming efficient. Their intelligence doesn't revolve around language or planning cities. It centers on survival in harsh, ancient landscapes. In evolutionary terms, crocodiles represent the ecological intelligence hypothesis, that brains evolve not just for social complexity, but for navigating difficult environments. Compared to primates, whose intelligence evolved through cooperation and deception, crocodiles represent the other extreme. They are lone survivors. Like octopuses and bears, they rely on stealth and adaptability. They don't just think, they calculate. And what's astonishing is how little they've changed. While humans evolved rapidly through multiple branching hominid species, crocodiles have held steady. Why fix what already dominates? This isn't stagnation, it's refinement. They didn't need to evolve social contacts or architecture. Their blueprint works in the most unforgiving places on Earth. In many ways, that makes them one of the most successful animals in history. Final reflection. Crocodiles aren't just remnants of a forgotten age. They're champions of patient, economy, and ancient genius. For every scale, every hiss, every lung-crushing bite, they're the result of over 200 million years of perfecting the art of survival. They show us that evolution doesn't always reward the biggest brain or the fastest sprint. Sometimes it rewards the creature that waits, that endures, that adapts without reinventing itself. In a world obsessed with progress and novelty, the crocodile reminds us that there is brilliance in stillness, in efficiency, in watching the world change and not changing with it. They're not so much fossils as they are silent philosophers of the riverbanks, living proof that in biology, sometimes the oldest ideas are still the best. And if we ever want to understand the full scope of what evolution can do, not just in speed, but in staying power, we need only look at the ancient, unblinking eye of the crocodile.